Chapter 3 Problem of the Day. Lesson 3.1 How to Add Decimals.
For this problem, you would first need to line up the decimals. Now you add. You would get 18 and 52 hundredths.
Lesson 3.1 How to Subtract Decimals.
For this problem, you want to line up the decimals.
That's such a cool picture. Look at the photo.
Now that you've lined up the decimals, now you have to subtract.
Three 3.2 How to Multiply Decimals. For this problem, you would first need to line up the decimals. Lesson 3.3 How to Divide Decimals. First, for this problem, you're going to need to line up the decimals.
Hi, Kirk. It's Kirkpatrick, not Kirkpatrick. Everyone shut up. Kaya, you're
Now subtract.
I'm sorry. OMG.
This is the answer that you should get.
So, like, do this.
3.4 How to Solve Equations Using Decimals.
What the heck?
For this problem, you'd first have to set it up.
We're not friends, is it?
Hello, my name is Nate. Today, I'll be telling you how to do this problem. So, you want to go X, so you go. I bring it.
Okay, so now that you've set it up, you want to change the subtraction to adding. Okay, now that you've done the opposite of what it originally was, you're gonna cross the first two numbers out because that equals 1.
And then you're going to cross the
So now you just have W equals 1.2 plus 5.8. So then you would do that, and you would get 7, and that would be your final answer. W equals 7. For this problem, you would first need to set it up.
89 would be your answer. Thank you very much. Next one.
Now that you've written and set up the problem, now you would need to change the first set of numbers to the opposite. So it has a plus sign, but you're going to want to change that to a minus sign. Now that you've done that to both sides, you're just going to cross out 3.91 because 3.91 minus or plus 3.91 equals 0 or 1, so you don't need that. So now you just have K equals 28 minus 3.91. So now you would do that work. So for that, you would get 24.9, and that would be your final answer. So for this problem, you would first need to write it down and set it up. So now that you've written this down and set it up, you're going to want to change the multiplication sign to a division sign. Now that you've done that, you're going to cross out both of the 12s because that equals 1. Now you would do the division. So now that you've done this, you're going to do the division. Now that you've done this, you're going to get your final answer of 12. Y equals 12. That's your final answer. So for this problem, you would start off by writing it down. Now, instead of dividing, you're going to multiply. Now you're going to multiply both sides. Now that you've done this, you're going to cross out both of the 82s because they're the same thing and they equal 1. Now you just have n equals. Now you would do the work.
You're still not.
For the answer, you get 4.92 or 49.2. Lesson 3.5, how to add fractions. So, 6 over 15 plus 3 over 15. So first thing you want to do is write the problem down. Now that you've done that, you're going to find the least common multiple for the denominators. And the denominators are already the same, 15, so we don't have to change anything. So now you're going to want to add the numerators and put the same denominator as the denominator. So 6 plus 3 equals 9. And keep 15 the same because that's the denominator. And actually I messed up. Don't put 9 there. Put 6 plus 3. So we have 6 plus 3 over 15. So then you do the math and do 6 plus 3, which I already said was 9. So your final answer would be 9 over 15. Okay, so now that you've got 9 over 15, you're going to divide both the numbers by 3 because that will simplify it. You divided both of the numbers by 3, so the final answer would be 3 over 5. Lesson 3.5, how to subtract fractions. So for this problem, the first thing you're going to want to do is find the least common multiple. The two denominators are 2 and 24, and we know that 24, 2 can go into 24, so the least common multiple is going to be 24. So we know that both of the numbers, the least common multiple is going to be 24. So now that you've done that, we're going to erase it so we have more room to do work. Okay, so now we know that the least common multiple is 24. Now, we're going to write the problem out. To get 24, we have to multiply 2 by something to get 24, and that is 12. Now, we're just going to do 21 over 24 minus 12 over 24. over 24 minus 12 over 24. You would first keep the denominator the same, which is 24, and write 21 minus 12 over 24. And we'll do the math for 21 minus 12, and that'll be 9. So your final answer will be 9 over 24. And you can simplify this if you divide both the numbers by 3. It'll be 3 over 8. And 3 over 8 will be your final answer. Lesson 3.6, how to multiply fractions. How to multiply fractions. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to write down the problem and set it up. Now that you've done this, you're going to cross cancel. So 2 can go into 4 one time. So you would put, or twice. So you could put 2, change that to 1, because 2 goes into itself one time. And 2 goes into 4 2 times, so you would put a 2 next to the 4. Now that you have this, you have 1 times 1 and 2 times 3. Lesson 3.7, how to divide fractions. So for this problem, you're first going to set it up. Now you're going to use the strategy keep, change, flip, KCF. So keep the first fraction, change the division sign to a multiplication symbol, and you're going to flip the 6 over 7 to 7 over 6. And now you're going to look for any cross-canceling. So you can divide, you can cross out 3 and make it 1, and 2, or 6 and make it 2. So now you have 1 times 7 over 4 times 2. And that'll end up being 7/8. And that will be your final answer. Okay, so
first you have to set this problem up.
Oh, whoa, what just happened there? Okay.
Alright, so 1/6 you have to so it's m plus 1/6, so you have to make it m subtracting 1/6, so subtracting 1/6, subtracting 1/6. Alright, and then you cross those out because it's like the same thing, so you go like m equals, and then you do what do you call it, 5/8 or 5/6 minus 1/6. So you would do 5 minus 1, and that equals 4, and then 4/6, and then that equals 2/3. So that equals 2/3. So 2/3 would be your final answer. So for this problem, you first need to write it down. Alright, now that I wrote it down, you're gonna, since n is subtracting 1/5, then you'd have to add 1/5 because it's the opposite, so. Now you would cross both 1/5 out because it's the same thing, so n equals this right here, which is 3/5 plus 1/5, so you would do 3 plus 1 equals 4, and then 5 is the denominator, and the denominator stays the same, so the final answer would be 4/5. So for this problem, you're gonna write it out first. Alright, so now you're gonna change that to division. So you have to write it down first. So you would do that. You would first you would have the division. You would divide. So make that a division sign, and then you would, the opposite of division is multiplication. So you would have to multiply 6/1. Multiply 6/1. Cross this out because it's the same thing. So now you're gonna do y equals 1, 2 times 6/1. So for this problem, you're gonna cross out that, and it's gonna be 3/1, and your final answer is gonna be 3. So y equals 3. By Christian Dykman, G3.